What sucks when you get married? Story 1. So when are y'all gonna start having kids? So are you pregnant yet? When are you gonna have a baby? So how far you gonna plan the kids apart? You're gonna have at least 2, right? I want them to have a sibling that's close enough in age to. You're one of 4, right? So you gonna have a big family too, and 4,000 other variations of do you intend to procreate, and if so, when and how often? Story 2. My wife and I got married last year. We were shocked to see that we owed more in taxes married than we did when we were single. This was due to the fact that I was able to itemize my deductions and she would take the standard deduction. When married, you and your spouse either both have to itemize or both have to take the standard deduction. It's something to be aware of, and definitely sucks for us. Story 3. I noticed a pattern in my wife once I had proposed. Before I proposed, sex was just about any time, anywhere, as much as I wanted. Including BJ's. After I proposed, it could only happen in a bed or on a couch inside. No more car BJ's. After we married, I actually found out there was a limit on how much sex we could have. To top it off, BJ's required coupons that I had to earn and save up by doing good things. Story 4. +1 for in-laws. I have a MIL with no sense of life planning and has repeatedly borrowed money. I'm grateful to be in the position to help, but when it becomes repeated, it seems like she is abusing the relationship. You would think that someone that borrowed money would at least try to be more helpful if they couldn't pay it back, but no. She won't even go to our kids' recitals because they are inconvenient. Story 5. Getting divorced when the other person decides to just give up rather than even attempt to work things out. Maintaining any relationship long-term takes work, compromise, and honest communication from both partners. Therapy helps. But in all states you can skip all that and just file for divorce because you don't want to put in the work or admit that you're even partly at fault for your own problems. Story 6. Not so much marriage, but living with a partner. It's great 99% of the time and I know what I signed up for, but I really enjoy alone time and it's hard to be alone when living with a partner. Want to eat? Check with the wife. Want to go shopping? Check with the wife. Want to lay in your boxers all day? Make sure the wife didn't set up any plans. We're about to have kids, so it's officially no more alone time. Story 7. Man, I see friends way more often now than I did before I was married. Some friends definitely apply to this scenario, ones that seem to give up on friendships and claim either they aren't allowed to go out or come up with excuses, but I still see my friends a ton of the time. Hell, I just flew to Disneyland over the weekend and met up with a friend, sans either one of our significant others tagging along. Story 8. Expectations of children from other people. Are you having kids? You guys are getting older, why no kids yet? You're being selfish for not having kids. Do it for me, I want some grandbabies. I've been married for 15 years. We've tried to have kids, only to find out I can't have any. And even knowing all that, and knowing all the pain and anguish and utter despair, we still get these questions. Just fuck off. Story 9. Mine had all been awesome. 12 years married, 16 together, but his family does the same thing every year, for every occasion. Same 1 week beach vacation to same beach, on same week. Same exact food for Easter. They go to the same play every year, for Christmas, same order of events for Christmas Day. They even eat the same thing every week, Monday, Italian, Tuesday go out to eat, Wednesday, chicken, etc. Story 10. In America, taxes. Once you get married, the government sees that as a golden opportunity to take extra money from you. I'm sure there is some sort of legal reason behind it that is lost to time or irrelevant anymore. My FIL used another address as his primary living to keep the taxes down. I don't know all the ins and outs behind it, but when I heard it I thought it was nuts. Then I got married and it all made sense. Story 11, my wife and I didn't notice too much of a change after we got married, but we were living together for a while before that. Kids. Holy shit, do kids change things? 1 ain't so bad. 2 is way more than twice the work. Love them all, but hot damn it's busy. I miss having time to wrench on the motorcycle or random to for a hike. I'll get that time back as the kiddos get older, but 2 kids under 2 requires more than 24 hours a day. Story 12, had a group of old uncles making wagers on when we would get divorced. Literally at my wedding reception. Luckily, my good guy dad shut that shit down for us. I mean, I get it, you're unhappy. You're also older than me and have more life experience that shows that many marriages don't work. Talk bad about me behind my back, whatever, but don't do it literally at my wedding when I've just paid $100 a plate to have you there. Story 13, we didn't live together first, so I was always over at his place. For me, it was going out, but for him it was staying home. When we got married, he wanted to stay home, but I wanted to continue to go out. It just didn't occur to me that he literally never left the house. When I was no longer a guest coming over, the amount of time we spent together in the house dropped significantly too. It just wasn't nearly as fun as dating. Story 14, if you are actually in love, then fucking nothing really. It warms my heart that I get to come home to my wife every single day and for her to feel the same way. I get to lay in bed with the person I'll spend the rest of my life with and that I would die for. Trivial things though, is if you change your name having to do so on all your legal documents, loans, credit cards, etc. Just lots of paperwork and then filing taxes is different too. Story 15, this bothers me. The amount of it's been 2 months, 11 days, 3 hours and 41 minutes since we saw grandchild, Ren, is absurd. You guys are retired. There's a lane in the road that comes specifically to our house and you can feel free to use it whenever you want. A note for grandparents out there: life is busy. We're more than willing to accommodate you, but we can't always be the ones to travel 4 hours because there's a lot going on. Story 16, as others have mentioned, marriage is a beautiful thing. I love my wife dearly. I will say, at least for myself, the biggest adjustment was learning to be selfless. I came into my marriage helping raising a 4-year-old, soon to be 8 now, and as a single man I struggled loving myself, so learning to love unconditionally to others proved to be difficult. After long days of working, I was used to isolating myself from the world. Boy, did that change. Story 17, marriage is great. So great, that many begin to substitute time with the spouse for time they would have previously spent with their friends. This happens slowly, almost imperceptibly, and it takes great vigilance to not alienate your other friendships by simply spending all your free time with your spouse. Eventually, however, this can lead to a lack of support system other than your spouse, which will inevitably be very taxing on said spouse. Story 18, only thing that I don't like is my wife moved to the city I live in. So she doesn't have any friends here and I still have all of my friends. Of course they are all mutual friends at this point, but I always feel bad for having a guys' night or something knowing she doesn't have any girlfriends to do the same with. I just really wish there was some way she could find young like-minded girls who are in the same boat and simply need a friend group. Story 19, not your wife anymore. Entrenched arguments. You will get in the same spats over and over again. Dig huge trenches and refuse to give up to the other. Communication is very important for us and we still did this. Have to learn to accept the person you married. Sometimes you are both wrong and it doesn't do any good to keep fighting it. We have a no fishing rule in our marriage. You can't bring up past arguments to bolster current ones. Story 20, for all the things for which a couple are compatible or copacetic, there are those things which will rub at you. For me, for example, I like a fairly significant amount of alone time but rarely get it when I want it. My wife is a healthy food junkie and I prefer to eat a lot of carbs and desserts. But we've been married 31 years and it's still good, so I guess we've figured it out. What it will be for you will be for the two of you to work out. Story 21, single people don't want to be my friend and couples wants to be couple friends, which makes me want to barf. And I have very different needs socially, so that shit is not for us. When I try to push for just me and the wife to hang one-on-one, she loses interest. I also DGAF about kids, so now that only married people want to socialize with me, I'm surrounded by kids. It's hell. It makes me sad. As soon as I got married, my social life fell off. Story 22, when you've never seen a positive role model marriage, so you don't know how to argue/have disagreements. My parents are divorced and I should have gotten divorced long ago. Dating was amazing, but we literally didn't know how to argue like adults. We never hit each other, but I cringe thinking back on all the name calling we did years ago. Would also tell our friends, who've never been married, all our problems for advice, which was always a bad idea. Story 23, having someone in your place 24/7, having someone want to know what you are up to and when you will be back. They can just decide to be lazy as a life change and you are expected to tolerate them. That's happened with people in the FIRE movement too, where the spouse was on board with the plan, but they were really just on board with the money building up so they could divorce and take half. There is no modern pro for it unless you are a woman marrying a rich guy. Story 24, one very minor thing in the beginning was that I felt as if I had to justify purchases to him since we shared an account. I am not an irresponsible spender, but I can admit I do like to buy things more than he does. He was never mean or mistrusting, or any of that, but since he's just such a saver, any purchase felt scrutinized when we would pay off our credit card. 5 years in now, and it's not an issue in the slightest, just remember that at the very beginning. Please like, subscribe and press the notification bell, it really helps the channel out. Share your stories down below in the comments, hope you enjoyed.